I was in Venice for like 2 weeks and then Florence. And so I was dating when I was there. I was like, oh my God, I want to see what this is like. There are these two guys who was good dates. And I couldn't believe how focused we were on each other just to understand what the other person was saying. Mm-hmm. And I caught myself going, this is the most a man has tried to understand me.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
Welcome to the manwhorepod.
Shout out to the elder gays, to the desperate strays, and the dudes who open with, hey, what are you doing? Who raised you? This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. I will be judging this intro constantly based on if the chick in the bathroom laughs at all. I think I'm getting old. My birthday is next week. I'm going to turn 35. That places me into like a new marketing demographic. I soon will no longer be able to click 25 to 34. I will become that 35 to 44 demographic. I don't know what to do with that. All I do know is that I'm getting tired earlier. I need naps. What's wrong with me? What happened? No one warned me about that. No one warned me about nose hair either, but that's for another day. This week on the podcast, I've got on actor, director, producer Jenn Harris. She has a short film coming out next week called She's Clean. It's coming out on my birthday. And we'll be talking with Jenn about a whole lot in just a little bit. I was born in 1989, and much of my health education in grade school and high school has revolved around AIDS panic, STD fears. Oh, gosh, I talked about this a whole long time ago. I cited I think it was a Time article from like the 70s when herpes panic became all the rage. Before 1970 something, I don't think anyone really gave a shit about herpes. I don't think anyone was really talking about it. And then there was this big famous article that just made everyone go like, oh my gosh, there's a new thing to be scared about around sex. And again, as an 89 baby, there was the AIDS panic, and all of a sudden there was like a not just stigmatic thing to be scared of. There was a truly deathly STI to be scared of. And I think that was really drilled into like my generation and Gen X over and over and over again. I don't know that Gen Z has the fear about STIs the way people of my generation and the generation above do. I think they think, well, there's Doxy Pep and there's the PrEP, and if you do get something, there's just a pill, and if a pill doesn't really fix it, hey, we're fighting stigma anyway. But I don't know. I think sometimes when you like somebody a lot, it can manifest in some STD anxiety. There is a beautiful woman who I've been talking to for a while, and she came out from Los Angeles. You know, we've been talking on the phone and everything for a couple of months, and she was about to get here. And then all of a sudden I looked at my hand one day. I'm like, what's that bump? And I felt the bump. I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't feel like a normal bump. That feels like a fucking weird bump. And then I don't know how, but my mind just went to like, fuck, do I have hand syphilis? Hand syphilis is real. You can get syphilis on your hand. And I Google like hand syphilis, and there's definitely pictures of hand syphilis. And the CDC has things about having syphilic symptoms on your hand. The picture doesn't exactly look like the picture of my hand. I have like a singular dot. Those are like multiple dots, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't get the multiple dots. I feel like every multiple starts with a 1, and I'm spiraling and I'm spiraling and I'm spiraling. I go do an emergency visit with my doctor down the street because I know I'm being silly, but I need someone in a white coat to tell me I'm being silly. And do I actually think I've got syphilis on my hand? Mind you, my left hand, my dominant hand, my good fingering hand. Like I went to the doctor's office, like wearing a latex glove. That's how fucking worried and fearful I was that I had hand syphilis. I don't think I was as worried about having hand syphilis as much as the STD anxiety that was instilled in me and much of my generation was manifesting in like a fear that like something had been fucked up and was going to preclude me from enjoying a time with this woman who was coming out to see me. All that to say is I do think that like STD anxiety, so long as we know that it is what it is, sometimes it's just telling us, yo, we really like somebody and we're really scared that some sort of medical diagnosis, especially as far-fetched as it might be, is going to get in the way of us getting to enjoy time with somebody that we really want to spend time with. I should also say that the doctor was like, yeah, I even told her, I said, hey, look, I feel silly, but I just need someone in a white coat to tell me I'm being silly. And she said, you're being silly. But she then explained to me, hey, apparently you can't just have hand syphilis on your hand. You have to have it on your dick or genitals first. So if I don't have syphilitic sores on my genitals, then like I won't have it on my hands and my feet. And even if I had it on my genitals, it would come like the stuff on my hands and feet when it comes to like 4 to 8 weeks later. So like I was being silly, but I do appreciate that she explained long form why I was being silly. And now I'm telling you, hi, welcome everyone. Did I already say that? I'm a little tipsy. I did see The Wiz for the first time, and I'm just trying to ease on down the road here. Let's do a quick fan or appreciation moment while I make some. She dropped her phone. I gotta tell you, she is a tough audience. I cannot make her laugh that easily. It is difficult sometimes. She thinks this is going to be edited out, and she would be mistaken. But this is a part of the podcast. So I just want to give a quick shout out to someone who supports the Man Whore podcast on Patreon. Patreon is still the best way you can support the work that I am doing with not just your downloads, but your dollars. And I could use your dollars. The first of the month is coming up soon. Could use those. And this person not just gave me dollars, just a few. This person signed up for an annual membership. That's the All-Star Pro way to do it. Also gets you a discount. So thank you to ALB1974. Hey, happy 50th birthday year to you. And thank you for supporting the work that I do on Patreon. And you can support the Man Whore podcast and receive a slew of great rewards, including access to over 300 bonus episodes of the show. I recently released a bonus episode that is just me recounting a lot of my major sexual milestone firsts. You can also hear the happy ending flip bonus episode. You can hear the hashtag all the moans bonus episode from episode 500, as well as extra content from all of your favorite Man Whore podcast guests. Enjoy those, support the pod, become a member today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Oh, also, the Naked Comedy Show tickets are now on sale. Ticket link up at the top of the notes. That is going to be on June 14th. We have 8 and 10 o'clock shows. And if you can't make it that night to see me with my pants off, maybe come see me with my pants on in a variety of places. Check out manwhorepod.com to see all of my upcoming stand-up dates. Jenn Harris, everybody. She is an actor, director, producer. You may recognize her most recently from the Oscar-winning film American Fiction. She played one of the very allied judges who did not listen to the 2 black people in the room. She was hilarious in that. She has a short film coming out next week called She's Clean, where she takes a shower with her character takes a shower with all of her dates. It's like 14 different people she takes a shower with in the movie. And I gotta say, I don't normally read the book of the guest. I don't normally watch the thing of the guest. I've watched this twice now. It's delightful. I very much enjoy. I think chicks who date dudes will really love this because they'll be like, I've been on those dates. And I think dudes who date women could learn quite a bit if you would just be like, I don't get the joke. You don't have to get the joke. Just understand that what you're watching, if it looks uncomfortable, it's because that really happens. Learn something from it, okay? But Jen and I had a fabulous conversation about sex, about dating, about gender. This was a fun one. I like when the guest does the crosstalk. I like when they feel like so comfortable. They think like, oh, I can just like talk over this dude. Yes. Talk all over me, daddy, please. I'm looking over the couch for validation. Didn't get it on that one. So I'm going to quit while I'm already behind and say, I hope you all enjoy this conversation with Jenn Harris. Enjoy ad-free episodes at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast.
I think I'm talking more, less excuse, more. I'm talking more like deep down, like men are from Mars, stuff that like is in our DNA, in our genes, in hunter-gatherer, in mothering. Do you know what I'm saying? That's like almost neither of our quote unquote faults. I think there's a lot to that we don't really talk that much or know that much about because I'm not a man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're not a woman. And it's like, but what about the stuff that like, we're like, well, you know, yes, but we know more. It's like our bodies know way more than our minds ever can, I think.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, like if we talk about like genetically, like, okay, so back hunter-gatherers, like,
Yeah.
well, why was the guys going out to hunt? They were bigger. Was it really in the DNA that the men to hunt, or was it simply like they were just bigger, therefore? Like maybe there was like a big
Woman, I'm
a
sure
big
there was.
ancient lady, and she went out with the men because she just was
Maybe.
the bigger people went out, and maybe the smaller guy, he stayed back and weaved baskets too.
Right. Or maybe it was about energy and not like stature. Maybe like there was like a really like energetic female who could run really fast, right? And had like agility with a spear. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think we had spears or vice versa. Or a man with, you know, that had a nurturing capacity or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Right. I mean, like,
It's interesting.
I try not, I'm not a fan of like men and women just have to be different only because it doesn't explain my existence to me.
No, 100%. And this is stuff that we're finally, you know, uncovering, talking about. And I can't believe it's so funny. And after doing all this, I can't believe that I've almost feel like I've come into this like weird whole other space where I'm like, and we're different. We're really different in these like fundamental ways that we're trying to get away from.
Yeah.
That I agree with, that I totally agree with. And I find myself, you know, in spaces where I'm like, oh, that's not very, I don't want to say liberal of me, but it shocks me, right? It would shock me that I would, you know, want
You feel more
something or not.
traditional on some
Yeah,
stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that honestly, I'm feeling way more traditional than anyway. But hi, I'm Jen.
It's all right. No, this is perfect.
We had a good start.
This is exactly it. This is the show. This is what I love to do. You know, somebody's like, oh, I don't want to write 11 pre-done questions about the thing. And you probably were asked 9 of them already. It's,
Maybe not.
I don't know, kind of bores
you're
me.
kind of early in my.
early?
You're early in my stage, so I'm like, I'm fresh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I don't want to. Do I want to poke more on that? I love the flick. You did the short film. She's clean.
Yes. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, short films. I don't understand that part of the industry, but like when I come across one, I go like, oh, this is pleasant. This was nice. This is fun.
Yeah.
I felt like I learned a thing about you. The ending. I mean, I won't give away, but just like it made me think about this line from Clerks.
I don't hate that reference at all. Awesome.
Wait, are you a Kevin guy?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But I know I'm not at all. But I do know, and I think it's fabulous.
Well,
There's a documentary I just saw in a film festival. What
Clerk.
was it? Is that what it was called?
Or no, oh, if it was in the
it's
film festival, it was
recent.
probably the Chasing Amy
I
doc.
just saw. Yeah, my
That
friend
was-
produced it.
Oh,
My friend produced
gushed.
it. It's
Loved.
really fabulous.
I saw Tribeca last year.
I saw it at. I was at. I think this was Oklahoma. We were at. It was either Dead Center or it was Tallgrass Film Festival. One of the two, but it was fantastic. It's a fantastic documentary.
So good that he got that out of Joey. As a lifelong Kevin Smith fan, like I just got chills. I'm getting the goosebumps again about it.
But
And
my
so-
end reminded you of Chasing. Chasing. Amy.
It made me think of Clerks because there's just with Dante where he says like, let's just think of me playing hockey on the roof as spitting water at life.
Okay.
And I was curious, like, what was?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you feel like was the purpose of the flick? If you want to maybe give like the brief synopsis and what you feel like you wanted to express with it.
You know, it's so interesting. sending it. This is the dumb. Here's the answer. It's a meditation on intimacy.
Okay.
That sounds like, okay, like I can't grasp onto that. So if I want your audience to be able to go, all right, and it's about a woman who wants to marry her desires for sexual freedom with emotional intimacy. So she showers with all her dates.
Yep.
And it's all set in a bathroom. I wanted as a filmmaker, I wanted the challenge of one location. So that's why I was like, I want to make something, when I was writing it, I want to make something with one location. The bathroom is unarguably funnier than a bedroom. And I just also think it's such a it's like, to me, it's the most vulnerable place in like anywhere.
My ex-girlfriend wouldn't let me shower with her because that was too vulnerable for her.
Yeah, of course. And so I really liked that. I liked the idea. I liked the challenge. And then I was just I mean, the long story is I had collected all these stories from dating, me, my friends, and I wrote out all these like dates and experiences. And then I wanted something more interesting and less sort of sketchy. So I just pulled what I thought was like the most important parts of whatever the experiences, still fiction that I'd written, and then I put them in these like little snippets. So it's like 15 short, quick scenes. And some of the guys repeat. You know, it's not linear. It's not anything like that, per se. And you asked what was the point of it? The point?
Well, when I was watching it, like, you know, I read what was in like in the press release with like the purpose of like what you just said. But I sat there thinking like, where is she at in her life? What's going on? What is she trying to explore? Is she just getting out of that first marriage? Is she 40 and like kind of getting fed up with dating? Is she making some new push? Like, I really wanted to know like where she was at, that she is now in the shower with this many dudes in what I was just interpreting as like some vaguely not terribly long period of time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like that.
I chose to think like maybe this is over the course of a month or two of dating.
I like that this was your take, or that this was some things that you pulled from it. It isn't a long period of time, and I like that you brought that up. I would say it's more of a course of like a year.
Okay.
A year. Yeah, it's about more of in a course of a year. And did you say why she was in the shower with? No.
It was more like I just wanted to know like where she was at in like where she's at in life right now, that she, you know, in her dating career, which sounds like it's in a pretty standard spot. Right? Going I meet a guy, one or two guys in a month, trying to find somebody.
Yeah. I think she's just spent it. I see her. I've never been married, but I also see her as like not married, having ever been married, and pretty successful. She's got a nice bathroom, so I was like, it has to be. Yeah. That cost me a lot of money. That bathroom.
It did, yeah, because it was big enough you could shoot it from different angles.
Yeah, we had a lot.
I thought it was at least 2 or 3 different bathrooms.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I'll have to tell. Me and Charlie Gruet, who's the cinematographer for High Maintenance. And the other,
which you were on.
Yes. And the other two was a cinematographer, and we planned this thing to a T. And I love what we got out of that bathroom. It was really, really fun. And I think where she's at is she's searching. She wants to be sexually free and have an emotional connection, and finding that difficult. Whether that's because of her age, I think that's a cop-out, honestly. The more I think about it, I'm like, that's not it. No. That's like, that's a victim mentality, in my opinion. I think that and you know what? I think I've thought about that too over the course of like showing the film too. No one specifically saying anything, just like me watching it over and over. I'm like, oh, she wouldn't, that's not part of that.
I mean, have you ever copped out with that? Being a single woman yourself?
Oh, 100%. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I think this one is this is wishful thinking, me and her. Like, I wish like that's a different, it's not, I mean, it's me, but it's not me. And I've had similar experiences, but, you know, it's character, obviously.
Sure. But is it not you because you wouldn't get so intimate and go in the shower, or do you not date like as much as that woman dated?
No, I absolutely would go in the shower. I've been in the shower. Sure. And I think that's where I got some ideas from. I'm like, this is so interesting and weird. And like, you know, from being on a date in a shower.
A lot of weird in there. On the men's part. Like all from the men? But you caught like every archetype of men that women complain to me about.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
I screamed in my car. I'm going to admit, I cheated. I watched it in traffic on the FDR. That was planned.
That's
I was like,
okay.
I'll have plenty of time. But like, I was screaming like the guy whose like arms are at his side and like wasn't moving. I was like, no, uncomfortable. Or like there was a guy, a guy yelled boxing class and then ran out. Is that what he yelled?
Not specifically that.
Okay.
But that actually did happen where I was on a date and a guy I think there was some neurodivergency there.
Sure.
I think there was something. There was a lot of energy to this person, and I found them so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't like bolts like that situation, but it was like, it was. I don't even think we were necessarily in the shower, but it just was like we were on a date. There was no plan that like, okay, I'll go home or you'll go home or whatever.
Yeah.
It just was, I forgot my class. And then whatever the class was. And then I have to go. No, I'm sorry. No, nothing. Just, I forgot. Oh, class. Like that. Like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, like,
and I was like, oh, okay, you're leaving. Oh, okay. And by the way, it was his apartment. So I was like, oh, we're both leaving. We're both okay. And bye. And I just was like, oh. And then I also thought to myself, maybe he just didn't know how to be like something snapped. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to be in this situation right now. Maybe it was something. I think sometimes people, even myself, find themselves, even if they're having maybe a good time on a date or something, there's a moment where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Nothing's wrong, but I want to be done.
My batteries are done.
My batteries are done. Right.
I want to see them again, but right now,
yes.
I need to go have a nap.
Yes. Or I just like, I really like, I'll see you tomorrow, or whatever. But this is now, I'm starting to not like you, and I know it's not you, but this needs to end. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
If you date a lot or fuck a lot, you will recognize the people in this. Yeah. In this.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. You even got the fucking foreign guy where like you even got the
best.
Yeah.
That's Louis Cancelmi.
Yeah, from Irishman.
And
like she got it.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes. I forgot he's in that too. Yeah, Marty seems to like him. But
he was in a film called Gaby. That's the first time that I did years ago. And we had a sex scene in Gaby.
Okay.
And so we have remained friends, and I called him up. I was like, will you make out with me on film again, please? Wasn't he great?
He was so good, but like
he's beautiful.
That's like a story. I feel like y'all have like more stories. Women have more stories with the foreign guy than like I think us with the foreign chick at home. Because like I've heard, you're using the Google Translate to try to communicate, and then you're both saying the same thing in different languages and don't realize it. Like because I've been taking my Duolingo with Italian.
Atta girl. Wait, so I have to tell you that did come from going to Italy. I was in Italy for a couple weeks. I was at the Venice Film Festival working in this VR performance piece. It was really cool. But I was in Venice for like 2 weeks and then Florence. And so I was dating when I was there. I was like, oh my God, I want to see what this is like. Very specific men, Italian men. I will say, I love Italian. I love all things Italy. Love, 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 love. It's my favorite thing in the world. Like, I love Italy. I don't know why I'm not Italian. It's upsetting.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so upset. I know. I'm very sad about it. But I found there are a couple of dates where it was like, ugh, whatever. I think I went on like 3 or something, right? Or 4. But there are these 2 guys, there was good dates, and I couldn't believe how focused we were on each other just to understand what the other person was saying. And I caught myself going, this is the most a man has tried to understand me. But like literally, I was like, he was so focused on trying to understand what I was saying, what I meant, and me too. And it was amazing. Yeah. And it was like sweet and human. It was human and it was kind. And let me tell you, it was safe. I felt really fucking safe. I
gotta imagine that it's like a rare time where you got to see a man be vulnerable, kind of really against his will, because he doesn't know English. And he can't pretend his way out of it, can't lie his way out of it. He's just gotta like admit, I don't know what you're saying right now, but I really want to find out. Now, if we could just get the guys in America to do that with like emotions, like if they could just be like, I don't know what you're feeling, but I want to figure it out.
Right. Some do. Some do.
Some.
It's
Not everyone can be Billy Procida, but there's a few of us
rare.
out there. No,
it's
okay.
rare. I have come across a couple, but I think, and on that, and I don't, always redirect me off anything that you're like, let's go to. Okay.
This is exactly what I like to do.
I think, I wish, and you know what? I want to ask you this question too. I'm going to ask you this question from male to female, but I'll speak for all women. No, I just wish that.
Bring out the podium.
Men, yeah. Oh, I already have one. I love that you looked around the room so that everyone knows that you did address the entire room appropriately.
I like to think they understand that I get a little theatrical.
You're right. You're a little theatrical. I think they feel it. I think they hear it.
I hope so. They've been with me for 10 years.
Good. I do wish that men knew that really trying to see us, really trying to understand and genuinely learn, more about me. I'll just I'll say me. Learn more about me and try to make some type of emotional connection. We then feel safe. I know everyone kind of hates that word, but legit, we feel, and this goes back to
physically safe.
Yes, but
physically safe,
physically and emotion, and you don't feel. You feel.
I was scared for you in the shower doing one of those guys where you're
talk about that. Yeah. But I wish that men knew that when you genuinely, not fake, not like I'm going to be nice to you until I fuck you,
exactly,
but you genuinely make us feel safe. How much of a turn on that is, and men don't. They don't get it. And I think some dudes are like, why? I've seen one guy said to me once, this girl that was super hot and awesome. And she was with, I guess, what we would call a beta male, just sort of like a really nice guy and kind of like, what they would call, I hate that, but whatever. And it was like, what does she see in him? I'm like, are you out of your mind? And I knew her. I was like, she finds him so fucking hot because he's taking care of her and those emotions. And when you do that, then we're safe. And then it's like, I'm good. I don't need to come chase. I don't need to be up in your grill. I trust you. I'll give you space, all that stuff. But all this macho-y stuff, I don't know. I'll speak for myself. I love some white knight shit. I'm down. I love that. Do all that traditional stuff. And I will want to do all the things. The more genuinely safe I feel, the more I'm now all I want to do is everything that you sexually want me to do, because that feels natural. Yeah. But it's really hard when there's an artifice. Now, I know when you're first meeting people, we're all doing the things, the jumps and the dances that we're doing. But and I remind myself as well. I try to remind myself too in the dating. I'm like, is this person, do you actually feel safe and heard? I don't need a fucking, I can regulate myself. I have emotions, but just that piece. And if it isn't fake and you genuinely do want to care. Yeah. Again, not just till you fucking could actually care. One of the hottest things is I'm not even playing games. See, other people be like, girls don't like that. They like the guy who runs. You're dating a 26-year-old. I don't know what to tell you. You really are. Bless. But that's what you're doing. I remember my 26. Yeah. But when I see a guy, I'm not watching or anything, and I see a guy help or speak to oh, blah, 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 to a woman that I know he doesn't want to fuck. Oh my God, that's so hot. Because you're telling me you're taking care, that is so or
that you can even interact with a woman without trying to fuck her.
Oh my God, that is a man that I trust. That is a man that I would it's those kinds of, that energy, that behavior is, I'll just speak for myself, but that means everything. And I'm glad we're talking about it, because I have to remind myself that that's who you're looking for. That's who you're looking for. But I want to pose this question to you because I want to know, what do you think what is it something that you wish women knew about men?
I barely understand men myself. I don't really fuck with them too much.
But
I mostly have I don't have a lot of guy friends. It's actually the thing I'm working on present.
Good. You should. You should. Because it's also kind of I don't trust a girl who doesn't have any girlfriends, and guys should have guy friends. That's my opinion.
I try, but to find like I'm good one-on-one, I can do some of that. But I long to be in a group chat.
You will.
But like to be in a group chat of 5 dudes who like we all like each other and like the same thing, but also I don't think they're pieces of shit. Right? That's tough to find.
You'll find
all
them.
Overlap. Most of the time I can connect with guys. Like if there's a game on the thing, well now I got that.
Okay, great. You'll find it. You'll find it because I know some women too who've said like, I don't like girls, it's competitive and but you'll find your people. Keep going out there. But wait, what's something that you wish, you're a man, what's something that you wish that women knew about men? Like
the thing is there's much of the things that I find frustrating when I date, I usually can a lot of it identify as it's really only just in reaction to shit other men did before. I've been on so many dates where I see something going on, and I also am like, I can probably guess that X, Y, and Z happened in like the previous things. So like someone did this to you that now I have to break that down. But I don't think that's like a her fault thing. Like that's you have to protect yourself if you've been hurt enough.
So it's like seeing her trauma?
I mean, sometimes, but that's not a thing to correct or to learn. That's not a thing to understand. That's just, that's why the question gets difficult. I think the more we break away from these, some traditional stuff, I think frees us to just be, and not worry about like, is the guy supposed to be doing that? Or am I supposed to be doing this because I'm the woman in this dynamic? Mm-hmm. I think that like I frequently end up with a lot of queer women, not by choice,
right?
But like this shirt is my ex-girlfriend's and it's covered with naked women. I don't know. I end up with a lot of them because I think that a lot of people in the queer community break off of these like traditional gender roles because their attractions aren't traditional in the first place.
Right.
And so I think that's who I just end up connecting with.
Fair.
So, if I can identify a woman's like playing games early on, it's like, sometimes I'll have to say, you don't have to play these with me. We can just clearly communicate with each other. But like, it's not that I don't think women have like stuff to own on their side of the equation, but gosh, I do not think it's a 50-50 split. The longer I do this, the more and more I think like it's, you got some stuff to work on, but like we're just trying to get them not to kill you. So like,
I mean, that is true. That is true. And that's just like, we're not even being hyper, but like that's just
statistics.
We're just talking about statistics. Maybe it's something like, are you speaking about something to the like men having to prove thing, that whole thing where it's sort of like there's a courtship point where like I need to prove to you, I don't know, whatever. I don't know.
That the guy's got to prove to
that the guy has stuff that they have to prove and the girl just has to look as cute as possible.
Not all guys, of course. I do think at a core of a lot of stuff with like the onto the men versus women issue, I do think a lot of it is just empathy.
Maybe it's just emotional intelligence all along, all around.
And I don't think that's genetic. I think that's how we raise young boys. I think we raise boys to get the thing, win, earn the stuff, be this. And I think then a lot of guys see relationships and or sex and they see, I think, women just as sex, not as like another human in the thing. So they see sex as a thing to go get as opposed to an experience to have with another person.
Oh, and 100% I agree with you. And women too. Women will have that experience. But I asked that question, so thank you for answering that.
No, I mean, I don't think I answered, but I just don't think I know what it is. I don't think like women have to do a different thing.
I think there is something to like, let's all for men and women though, when I'm meeting someone, starting dating someone, let's all start on a blank slate if we can.
Yeah.
And then understand or have some type of communication around, oh, I feel this person's doing this or I'm doing this. Or some type of communication is my like whole thing. But anyway, I had something I wanted to say, but then I forgot. So it'll come back. It'll definitely come back.
Yeah, I mean, I am hoping we can solve the issue at this table before I go.
We will.
That would be ideal. And I think then everything will get a little bit easier for everybody.
A little bit easier.
And then more sex will be had by everyone because when you talk about safety, it's like when she's safe, guess what? Women who feel safe give way better blowjobs than women who are nervous that they're about to get whatever.
100%. 100%. And most men that I've slept with do want me to want to be there. Do want me to want to be there. So I think that is actually the majority. 100%. It came to me, the thing was about, it was money when you were saying about like men like having to like be the earner and stuff. And I find This is just what I think, but I could be really wrong.
That poor men are better lovers? I probably agree. Continue.
Not necessarily. No. I think men that aren't super hot are better. I've slept with super, super hot men. They're not good lovers. Get this.
When did they get hot? Because if they got hot later in life, they got to like,
this is interesting.
It's like they had to do some ugly decades.
They did, and they had to fucking work for it.
They had to get a personality.
Listen, a super, super hot dude. Yeah, but once they know they're super hot, I'm telling you, like, some men, I'm like, I can't believe I'm sleeping with you right now. And then I'm like, I never want to do that again. Like, I never want to do that again. It's not. I don't find super. And that's a judgment too. I shouldn't, because I should allow myself to sleep with super hot men. But
you deserve hot.
But there's something before I forget this. Because I have so many things. I find, and this is me. I ask sometimes, or I have brought it up. They're like, no, I don't feel that way at all. My friends are like, he was intimidated by you. He was intimidated by you. Men who make less money than me. They only just want to like make out with me and sleep with me. There's no introducing me to their friends. There's no I'm telling you. That's something that I don't understand, in my opinion. And I've even asked guys, I'm like, I really don't think this is gonna work. But a friend is always like, there's no way. They're intimidated. They don't want me to be the more famous one or the more funny one and I'm not even dating actors or people in the business, and it's just too much for them.
Yeah.
Or if they're not the funny one, it's like, I can't hang.
Yeah.
And I guess I respect that. I guess people like what they like.
That they think that that's also what they're supposed to offer.
I know, and I'm like,
I
you
can't
don't
offer money, and if I don't offer the abs, and I don't offer this, what do I offer? It's like, you could offer being a good partner,
talk to me, and like hang out, and let's do stuff. Yeah. It is interesting. Like, I think sometimes, again, I'll just speak for myself. I don't put these pressures on men that like I make my money. I've taken care of myself. I put myself through college. I will always be entertained. I haven't been bored a day in my life. I've lived in many cities, and I'm just looking to hang out with people. This is my friend choices too. These are other love relationships that are worth talking about too. Like your friendships. These are my like deep, deep, deep loves and intimate relations. I don't know if that's something that you guys cover, but I think that, it's interesting if we're talking specifically about sex, where and if there's a power dynamic where a man will get intimidated, or maybe it's a me thing. I don't know. Maybe there's something that I'm not addressing that is, and I think there's some of these same questions are in my film that don't quite get answered, but are proposed as sort of like a meditation on it. It's a terrible phrase. I can't be saying meditations on intimacy. That's so fucking awful.
I don't think you can say meditation about something where you're pressing your ass against the glass of the shower.
Maybe not that scene. Maybe that not. Or why can't I actually? Actually, maybe in that ironic sense, it works.
I do think, by the way, I think that's when I realized, I'm about to learn a lot about this. As soon as you press your ass to the glass and we're going back and forth I was like, okay, this is not who I thought I was going to be talking to.
Well, I love that scene, because that's a scene where you think, I remember and a girlfriend had talked to me about this too. And I remember this one this guy who was he was working on a job with me, and he was telling me about his wife or something. I adored him. He was great. And I loved his wife. And he was like, oh yeah, my wife was upset last night. I'm like, why? And he said, well, I was watching TV or something, and she came down and she had on this whole lingerie thing. And I was just like, oh, hey, I didn't even say anything to her. And I'm like, and she was really upset. I'm like, well, yes.
You don't wear lace for no reason.
Oh my God,
you don't wear lace for no reason.
She got all dressed up, and it's fair. Maybe he's like, I'm not in the mood. I don't want
fine,
to.
But you gotta notice and be like,
that is a
really hot.
Nice outfit, but this is my game.
Yeah.
And then you'll be my game.
Yeah.
And we will win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think that was so funny. That was a moment in that scene. And that actor is my friend Genesis Oliver. Oh my God. So the actors, there was only four actors were friends of mine that I knew. And I told my friend Genesis, he's an amazing, amazing actor. I said, okay, this is what I need. I need you're peeing and she comes in and she's trying to turn you on. And you're like done. You're not having it. You're just like, again, the cling turned off and you're like, I'm done with this date. It's over. I'm done. So she just kind of strikes out.
Yeah.
And I wanted that too, because women strike out too in these weird, sort of horny ways.
But that's a guy where I go like, you can be a human being until you get to door. Like, I know you feel like you're done. Maybe you're not interested anymore, whatever. Be a human being till you get out the door. We're just inside somebody.
It's so funny.
Like, just be a human.
So funny.
Even if you're not sincerely. It doesn't mean you have to be. You don't have to fake something. Just, someone asks you a question, just what's on your mind? Say what's on your mind.
Say what's on your mind.
Yeah. So there's I don't know. Again, like I said, if people who fuck and date a decent amount will enjoy this, because you will recognize so many things from your own stories and histories. When was the last time you had a boyfriend?
A year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been single for it'll be like 2 years at the end of the summer.
Okay, but it's not like you've been like 15 years single or anything like that.
No. I was in a 6-year relationship for a while, and then that ended, and then COVID happened, and I had like one short 4-month sort of relationship. And then I was in a relationship for about 10 months, a year, something like that.
Okay.
Almost a year. And that was a year and a half ago. And I learned a lot from that. And I learned as we're dating, and I learn a lot about myself. And even when I was dating on the apps, like a lot, which is more reflective of this film, I remember thinking, God, I'm learning about myself.
Yeah.
I remember saying that to a guy, I'm like, God, this dating thing, I'm learning so much about myself.
Such as?
Well, I learn where I get like silly. I learn where I turn like young, where I get like my energy will get like really young and vulnerable. I learned that I am very comfortable. I didn't know, because I was in a sexless relationship for a long time.
Was that the 6-year one?
Yeah, that was the 6-year one. And it was very loving and respectful and caring, but we struggled in that department, and that's obviously why things ended. And other reasons, but as just things do. But so then I didn't know, like, do I care? Like, where do I stand in all of this? And I learned like, I'm so comfortable in this space. And I have to be careful who I invite into this space. Space
being like your sexual space?
Okay. Sexual space. I have to be careful who I invite into this sexual space. Because I tend to be a very boundary-free person. And I've learned like, we need to trust people less. We need to not assume the best of everyone. I come from that. I come from Illinois parents who are like, and so I think I get very naive. And I have to really keep myself in check to this day to be like, okay, because I get swooped up in like, if I'm having a good time or if I'm having fun, or I'll just completely lose some boundaries. And I actually really like that about myself. I used to think like, oh no, it doesn't. And I'm like, that is incredible. Like that makes
it's embracing joy of life.
Yes, it's joy of life. It's fun. It's free. Like in the sexual space, like what a gift that I really like my body and who I am as a person. And it is, you just can't let anyone sort of come in and like mess with that in a little bit.
Yeah.
I do know too, when I made the film, like I have thin privilege, I have body privilege, I get that. But it wasn't always that way for me growing up. And, as a younger person, I don't know, who likes their body when they're younger? I don't know, or ever maybe. I'm not sure. But that's something that was my own body positivity was a journey for me. It's such a boring conversation. So I don't even ever want to get into it, but I'm just saying like, these are the things that I learned.
Yeah.
in my dating life. And I bring it up in my film. I won't talk too much about it, but
you're okay.
I
like the film, so you can.
Oh, okay, but I didn't want to. I mean, I guess it's not a spoiler, but I have these two silly monologues back to back where like shows the guy kind of being ridiculous, and then the girl, one guy being like kind of ridiculous on a rant, and then she goes on a ridiculous rant that's like ridiculous, and not true and just stupid, but she does talk a lot about like, oh my God, because of her own discovery, and this is true for myself, like, oh my God, for women, the majority of our stuff comes together in our like mid to late 30s. Like, you know, when people are like call cougars and what, like it's a biological thing. That's
why I was wondering if like that character had like been in like her, you know, 20s something marriage and then like coming out, because when I date or hook up with like older women who they've had the first marriage and now they're just discovering all this sexuality and there's now resources that weren't there when they got into the marriage at 20. So
fair,
that's
but
why
it's
my read was
hormonal shit. Yeah. We are like men's bodies, and she says this, she exaggerates, but like y'all come into your sexual selves at like, I don't know, 15, 13, whatever the fuck. 32 is our numbers. 33. Like, and this is like actual biology, science. I would say most women. So the thing that always like is annoying to me is like, this is just untapped potential. And this is in the entertainment market. Yeah. So when we're, you know, and as a young woman, we're posing. We don't know what we're doing.
That's why I don't
sex
understand
in my
dudes
20s.
Who like 22-year-olds, because I go like,
they don't even feel it. I'm telling you. Some 22-year-old girl right now is like, fuck you, bitch, I feel it. I believe you. You do.
Some of y'all are talented, but like you're going to be more talented at 32 and 42.
I'm telling you, girl, then wait till you get into your mid to late 30s. And it really is, and I'm telling you right now, a lot of your women are going, yeah, thank you. We're just posing. We're taught to pose sexually as 20-year-olds. We're taught to act. And then we discover it's then completely directly linked when you find women, quote unquote, coming into their own. That is sexual as well. That's not, well, now I'm, in some cases, yes, I'm divorced or I got promoted in my job. Bitch, our hormones are there. It's sexual. None of this when people are like, oh, you're more, you know, now, yeah, you be a professor, you be a director, you're a powerful woman. You've got all the, because the sexual stuff has come in too. It's not just, I've worked hard, I've earned it. You know, I'm just older now. People trust me. It is also, my sex shit has caught up, and there's power in, you know, there's a power in sitting inside of your sexual self.
Do you remember when you first kind of got that discovery or had that realization?
I'm telling you, like my late 30s. Right. Oh, you're asking for a moment.
No, I'm asking, I mean, a moment if you had one, or it could be a period of life where you start finally like thinking about it, feeling it, reading about it, what have you. But I do know some people have a distinct shift. It is
honestly like 40, 41. I'm not kidding.
And that's great.
Yeah.
That's better than finding it at 60 and 61.
Yeah. Or great. Or at least you find it that, I mean, but again, telling you, I don't think my body was there. Like the hormones weren't there. And many friends of mine, women, I was like, oh my God, why are we? And all of my friends are like, yeah, because it's not like, well, you couldn't find a man to find your spot, or you didn't masturbate enough to figure out where you. No, I sure tried. Like there's science here, and I don't have it to present, and I'm sorry. I don't have the actual science to present.
This was the rant.
This was the rant. But I can guarantee you there are women that are listening to you that are going, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's a shame. It's only a shame that like all of our energy and market is towards underage and super young women, because it's not even, I mean, you know, I look at porn and I'm like, it's hilarious to me. Some porn I get turned on by, but honestly, I am fully entertained, like laughing because, and not, we all get that it's fake. We all get that, you know, but there's just something where I'm like, oh, she didn't orgasm, like she didn't, like, that's not, nope. And it's a judgment. And I know, and some people are mad at me right now, but I just think it's funny. I think it's just a lot of fake. And this is me. And listen, and that's some people's jam. And, a young woman who doesn't know what she's doing is someone's jam. I'm not here to, like, poo-poo anyone's party, I guess, unless it's illegal and not consensual. But then I will take you to jail. But I think that there's just something. We have so much potential to explore in the entertainment world. When you have someone who is, I'm bringing us back, emotionally realized, emotionally connected, can communicate, and then you put that together with the biology has caught up to the woman, and you come into the power of the woman, and the woman who also wants to be taken care of. You put all that together in a soup, and it might be scary for some people. It gets a little scary for me.
Still,
sex is it can be scary. It's true. If it wasn't vulnerable, would it be good? If it wasn't vulnerable, would it be good?
For me, it depends. It depends what we've set up around it. I've frequently said I need to be connected to the person, or I need to be connected to the scene. I think it'd be hot without being vulnerable. But I do find connected sex to be better sex.
And don't we?
It's not about good, bad, but like better.
Don't we want better? I don't. For me, I'm like.
Sometimes I need a snack. Sometimes I'm fine with a snack.
You know what's funny? I hear you. For me, I'm kind of done with the snacks.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm like, I've had all the snacks, and like, I was about to make some really bad analogies. Like, I've had the snacks.
Do please.
I've had to go to the dentist. I've had to deal with the cavities from all the snacks. And I'm eating a lot healthier now.
It also is. I'm eating healthier ass now. Good for you.
You know why? You know why? Because for me, like, I'm telling you, I'm at a point where I'm like, if it's not a hell yes for me, then I'm not interested.
Good.
Like, there's just too much I want to do with my life, and so I'm looking for the whole package for me. I'm looking for, and I'm also looking for to be that person for someone. Now, no one can be everything for everybody. I get that, but I think sexually, I'm just tired of something not connected.
Sure. So where are you looking? How are you looking?
Oh God, I'm not. I know. So every and podcast. And podcast.
All of that. It's like, man, I'm not really trying to.
And she has zero credit. Okay, bye. No, I'm on dating apps. It's just, it goes from, it just is it's a cycle. And I meet people out, not all that much. It's kind of hard.
Do you approach men in public?
I'm a very friendly person. I think I do.
Okay.
But I don't know if they like that. I mean, I'm a friendly person.
Well, it shouldn't matter what they like, right? Because it should matter what you like.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you want to hit on a guy and he's turned off by you hitting on him, you didn't want him in the first place, right?
Right. I do. I'm a very friendly person. So I'm active and friendly. I play beach volleyball. I hang out with friends. I'm in like a big yoga community. It sounds crazy, but I love it. I'm in when I do.
You're a white lady on the West Coast. I assume
I'm a
there was
lady
a yoga
on the West Coast.
I assume there was a yoga community involved.
I know, isn't that terrible?
I assume there was some sort of green liquid I can't spell the name of.
I was just telling my friends actually how I've been starting to eat like shit now that I moved to the West Coast. I think it's the car.
Did you used to live here?
I lived here for 20 years, right over in Park Slope.
Oh, wait, right. You had that line like where you just asked like, what's your favorite part about New York?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought in the car, I was like I want to know. Total side note, what is your favorite part of New York?
Yeah. What is my favorite part of New York? That's a good question. I think Joe's Pub. Can I say like a place?
Yeah, you could. It's Pub. Interpret at will.
And Joe's Pub is a space where I did performance art for like 13 years.
Nice.
And it's what gave me the confidence to like be a producer and director, and that my original ideas were worth exploring full tilt. And it built my community, and it built my confidence and my community and my humor. And it was grad school. There was no other place on earth during this like 10, 12 year time where all of these amazing downtown artists were. And we were all just doing shit all the time. And that's my favorite. It's my favorite. Joe's Pub is one of my favorite places in the world, I would say.
Mine's not far geographically.
What is it?
Mine's McSorley's.
What?
Just walking distance.
What is it?
McSorley's Old Ale House over on 7th between 2nd and 3rd.
I don't drink, so maybe that's why.
Well, it's the oldest ale house. It's been open since like Lincoln did a speech at Cooper Union, and then he walked over and had an ale. Like they have the chairs like hung up somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's like
That's
my
cool.
great grandfather was a bartender there. Like it's old.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's walking distance from Joe's Pub.
Oh, really?
Very
Where
cool.
is it, you said?
7th between 2nd and 3rd.
Right.
Or 8th
We'll have to
between
go
2nd
check
and
out
3rd.
it. We'll have to go check out a Lincoln chair.
It's a good one. It's good. It's they've got old stuff from all different decades, so you'll see something from like the 1890s right next to like a 9/11 memorial thing. Like I love it. It's like a clash of history. What would you say is the difference for your experience dating in New York versus out on the West Coast?
Oh my God. Oh, I was just gonna say something real rude. Should I just say it?
Yes.
Intelligence.
I can guess which coast that is.
Intelligence. Mm-hmm. And I want to caveat that because intelligence means a lot of different things, right? The part of me that loves the West Coast that I missed out here, and I always was like, oh, someone like play softball with me. I want to go on a hike. Oh, I love swimming in the ocean. I want to go snorkeling. Like all that part of me that I couldn't get in New York, I have in spades now. Yeah. And that's its own physical bodily intelligence, this like connection to nature.
It's not no, this is real.
But there's something to that is really like getting in a car and going to a national park and camping and swimming in the ocean, right? And all of that is what I miss out here, and I'll have a hard time if and when I move back to New York. I'm really connected to.
Which coast is better in bed, in your opinion?
Oh, I was going to say a snotty answer, and then I'll give a real answer, okay?
Okay, snotty first.
I haven't experienced it yet. I think I'm waiting to sort of be presented with the better option.
Okay.
That's a hard one. I don't feel I can say that. Well, that sucks too, though, because people on where I am on the West Coast, and then when I'm out in New York, like it's transient. It's people from all over the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then somehow, like the same attitude ends up in both places.
Well, that's a good point.
It's all the LA attitudes in Ohio do end up in LA.
Well,
right?
That's fair. I don't know. Has anybody else answered that question for you?
I've never thought to ask it before.
It's a fun question.
Normally
such
the question,
a judgment, but it's a fun one.
Very fun. Yeah. Normally the closest question I'll ever ask about that is usually I ask about like the difference in sexual attitudes or sex dating life in like different generations, when someone who's like maybe in their 40s, 50s, 60s, because then they have like enough perspective. They can tell me what it was like in the 90s versus now, etc. But I've never asked that question before.
You know what I have discovered? I mean, and I also had a healthier sex life out on this coast than I have out on, and that's also by choice, though. Mm-hmm. I have to say that is by choice. And like I'm saying, I'm kind of done snacking, so I'm not snacking as much as East Coast was snacking, and West Coast I'm like, show me the money. Sure. Like I'm excited. I'm.
But that's the attitude that we. Or show me the money means show me substance.
Right. I'm trying to make connections here. I do think that. Can I add this? Like communication, like I've told you, is big for me. So like talking, I like talking during. Like I like what's it called? Positive reinforcement, and I find that. Again, this like this quiet, this emotionally detached. Mm-hmm. West Coast is way, quote unquote, chiller, quiet. So there isn't much talking. And I'm like, this isn't as fun and connected. But on the East Coast, it's just more verbal. People are more verbal. And I appreciate that. And I like that.
Yeah.
I want positive reinforcement for everyone.
Yeah.
All of us.
And I still think like that also comes back to like raising men to be a little bit more emotionally reserved, or to see sex not as a connected thing, but like a thing you get to do. So it's like, if it's a biological thing, like dopamine reward you get to have, then like you're just kind of waiting to get your, cummy reward, versus if it's a connected experience, you can let loose because you can be vulnerable because you're with another person.
Yeah,
it's fun, and it's
I
all
think
that.
so too.
I
think so too.
In the flick, how many guys are in that? I lost count after a while.
I know, me too.
Halfway through, I thought, like, lucky girl. Like,
there's 14 and a body double.
Okay.
And one is non-binary. Is the actor Becca Blackwell.
Okay.
But Becca Blackwell plays a man in
Which
the
one
film.
was Becca Blackwell?
The one who snapped me with the towel.
I must have missed that.
We run in. It's real quick. We run in, and then Becca slaps him with the towel.
Okay.
But Becca plays a man. Like, this character is a heterosexual woman.
Gotcha. And did you have which character that you hook up with in the flick felt most like real to your personal experiences? Like, which one when you were acting it, you go, and I have banged this guy a few times in my life.
Oh. I mean, I guess the guy who's like going on and on and on, the history buff.
Okay, I got
just talking on and on and on and on about something. I'm just like, I'm a curious person, and then I want to hear each other. I'm like, if someone's like, I want to tell you about the Battle of whatever, or I really love Lord of the Rings, and I just want to tell you about my favorite scene and go, or the moment in the book. Can I just like, if someone's, I'm not going to yuck your yum. I love when people are excited about something, but it's when then it's been an hour and a half and you haven't asked me one thing or brought me into it, or what do you think? Do you like that? It's not, that is where I'm like, now I feel like held hostage.
Would you have converted the empire to Christianity? Like, what would you think? I don't know. Can I say,
bring it in.
This
like,
is how
ask
much
me.
not a man I am. I have never thought about the Roman Empire. So when that was all trending, I was like, this is just confirming what I knew about me.
History buffs.
I'm a history guy. I'm more in New York City history. I think about old New York all the time.
Are you from New York?
North Jersey, which is like a seventh borough, but
Oh, that's fun.
I've been here since I was 18. So
I think that, so in that sort of like, I'm going to talk for a really long time, maybe because I'm nervous or because I just want to or whatever, but I'm not, for whatever reason they are. Mm-hmm. And some it's nerves. But then it's like, then I have to, you're not going to ask me anything about me. I still find that with guys that like I've been on dates with for a long time I'm like, okay, so you're not asking me anything today? Like, I don't know what it's just,
I wonder if like guys think they need to continue to impress, or they need to like earn their keep, or they need to convince them. I don't know or if it really is just a lack of caring. Cause like, gosh, I love to be able to shut the fuck up and just listen.
Me too.
That's why I was so happy you gave me that point we talked about off mic, because like, cool, I can ask her about it, and if she's got something to say on it, I get to sit back and just watch your brain work in front of me.
And I think too, like, that is another thing too. Feeling like someone actually does want to know how I'm genuinely curious about someone, and like, I always ask people, what do you do, or what do you like to do, or like, what are your hobbies? Like, what, you don't have to tell me your job or whatever, but like, where are you from? Do you like your family? Humans are curious to me, and I prefer dating someone who is also a curious person. You don't have to be me, but if your brain is just, you know what else is a bummer? I don't know why I just thought of this. I'm taking us off topic.
Bring it.
Drunks are bad lovers. Like,
I don't do my best work when I'm drunk.
Drunk drunk. Like, people have to like drink to, I'm sober over 20 years, so I definitely have a bias, but I can't, you have to be sober.
Well, it's also different. Like, if you're sober, you're like, and he's drunk, like, you're seeing what drunk sex is like. Whereas
Right.
if you were both drunk, like we're both being bad in bed together.
Right,
Great.
right. Or even better, we're both sober and we're being bad together. Like we're being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, and also if you're drunk, am I in charge? I don't like mommy energy. I don't like feeling like, oh, you know, and I just, it's just for me, I don't know, bless your listeners. I have nothing against drinking. Trust me, I loved it. Had plenty of drinking years.
You're doing great.
Loved it.
No one is mad at you, Jen. I feel like you perceive people are mad or bored, and I told myself in my head, if she asks if she snores at herself saying what she's saying is boring one more time, I'm going to be forced to ask her about eating ass. So I was like, you're doing great.
You can 100% tell me to shut up.
No, you're
about my own self, about myself, telling myself to shut up. But I think
will gladly.
I think, yeah, there's just that's a point that I love. I don't like being intimate with a guy who's drinking or been drinking.
That's fair. That's very fair.
It's just, I mean, it's fine. I'm not like, not everybody's an alcoholic. I know that. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but it's not as interesting to me.
Yeah. And again, like, you're probably not doing your best work.
Probably not.
When drunk. I know I'm not. Sometimes I'll be like, like if I went out to drinks with someone, if I got like maybe a little too tipsy and it's the first time together and she takes me home, I'll be like, we're not going to fuck tonight. I'll take care of you. I was like, I can do something, but
I'm
let's
not
just,
gonna.
Let's not fuck because like I don't want to make a bad first sexual impression. Let me make a good one where like it's just all about you.
I think that's smart.
Oh yeah, I'm a big low expectation.
That's
guy.
a very smart approach, by the way. That's a good game. I'm glad you got a good game going on there. That's a smart approach.
No one's ever been mad that you offered to eat their pussy, even if they don't want you to.
No,
it's never a bad thing to offer.
It's not a bad thing to offer.
You know,
it is not.
I have a patron only channel in my Discord server. It's called Ask the Guests. So I've got Patreon members who they ask some questions for
fun.
you.
Good for you.
If it's a bad question, it wasn't my idea.
Yours.
Yeah,
okay, so they just ask questions.
Yeah, I say ask whatever you want. If it's a good question, I wish it was mine. But
this is fun.
Yeah, Chuck wanted to know.
Chuck
is a good guy. He always has a question in the channels.
Good for Chuck. We love you, Chuck.
Big fan of Chuck. Good guy. I absolutely love this with the description of the short film.
Oh, so this is regarding you posed my film.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I do a little
fun.
thing. I give them some stuff to work off of. They can ask off of that, or they can ask a completely random.
I love this. What does everybody
question.
ask? Bless you guys for asking. That's so nice.
Yeah. So Chuck wants to know. He
so
says,
cool.
"I would shower with all of my dates if they were into it. Has she gotten any negative response from people who know her for making this film and being so open about this part of her private life?"
Whoa, this is a great question, Chuck, right?
Yeah.
Chuck, no one has asked me this question. This is incredible. So I'm going to guess maybe he's thinking like if I had a partner or like my parents or something like that.
Or maybe like dating, I'm going to interpret, but
no.
You know.
It's all, any of the dates or dating are people who know that I made this movie and they've dated me like, it's all fiction, you know, everything's fiction. So it doesn't matter. No, I haven't. And that is such a good question. It's totally valid. It's totally a valid question. I'm glad he asked it. I'll start with like my family because like, let's be honest, my dad's not watching this film. And if my dad wanted to watch this film, we'd have a problem. When we did, my family is so super supportive of me. And when I did the episode of High Maintenance where I'm naked and having sex in high maintenance, and they knew that, and my grandma watched, and my mom watched, and my sister watched, but my dad and my brother-in-law did not watch, and that's appropriate. And my mom said, yeah, your dad was in the room, and then when they got to that point, your dad just like, I could see him just go and stand up and left the room, because that's appropriate. But my family is super supportive, and they just know that, and I'm a lady in her mid 40s. Yeah. No one's coming to police me.
Sure.
But I hope not. But that's a great question. I wonder if there is anyone who does feel that way and isn't telling me.
Interesting. I also didn't have any
question.
information of like if you had like a partner or anything. So maybe he's like,
right. Yeah.
holding
He might
space for
wonder
something
that,
like
that as well, which that would be, again, that would be a valid question. And I'm interested. This isn't a thing. It's just, I'm genuinely curious. Like, would he pose that same question to a man? I think he would. I remember a friend of mine who's a dear friend of mine. He's a guy, he's gay, but he watched the film and he's like, oh, it was amazing. And I just was realizing my judgment. I was catching myself like being judgmental about this woman. Like, oh God, she's sure having a lot of sex. And I'm like,
I mean, I thought that too, but it was a good judgment. I was
but but also just having that thought. It's like, do we have that thought like the opening of Wedding Crashers? Like, do we have that thought when like men are just like having a bunch of sex with women and they're not the leads of the show and they don't have any lines or maybe one and they don't even have a shot. Some of these guys in my film don't even have their own shot. Like, it's either in a tour or the camera's on me.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you know what I mean? It's just interesting. I'm interested if people notice that.
Well, I think it's because we don't think of men getting kind of judged negatively for having a lot of sex, right?
Right.
We know that as a society that like women have and still do.
Oh yeah,
so
100%.
It's like I think we wouldn't ask the question to a man not because like we're being whatever as much as just we don't think it's probably not.
It's
we'd be
acceptable.
Surprised if he was getting shit.
It's acceptable, but a woman just and unmarried, like totally, and this has been something that like film festivals, I think some of them struggled with too and wanted to put me in a midnight slot, and I was like, no, this isn't a midnight film. Like, just because she's naked doesn't make it a midnight film at all. And I respect the midnight genre. Don't do that. Yeah. Like, don't do that to the midnight genre either. I love midnight, and this film is not midnight.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Tracy wanted to know, what inspired you to explore the topic of sex through humor and being vulnerable when making She's Clean?
There's nothing funnier to me than sex.
Okay.
And I take comedy very seriously. I do. Sex and humor, I mean, if they can't go together, I don't know, then it's not fun for me. Humor is the most intimate, connected thing that I have. It saved my life. It's the first thought and memories that I have as a little kid is understanding humor and like just sort of like understanding like, oh, the Muppets are doing this and that's ironic as a little kid, or understanding what they're doing in the Carol Burnett show, right? Or getting like a joke from MASH that's a total adult humor, war and non-straight. It's like, this is something that to me is my total life blood is humor, and reaching the largest audience humor, less sort of stand-up niche. I make my jokes and I don't care if you like them or not. Like, I love make everyone in the room laugh if you can. That's sort of what I aim to do. And I think intimacy is super vulnerable, and comedy is super vulnerable. I couldn't make anything without humor in it.
Right.
I take my life too seriously not to. A lot of dating sites, I don't know if you know, a lot of dating sites guys say doesn't take herself too seriously, and like must like sarcasm, and I'm like, I teach sarcasm.
Must like sarcasm just means he wants to be an asshole to you.
Well, that's exactly it. And people are like, oh, the best, must, yeah, exactly. Sarcasm must love. I want to get away with treating you and every people like bullshit. And if you don't like it, then it's like you're already telling me that you want to get away with bad behavior.
Yeah. Their version of humor is saying something that's not, which, yeah, sure. That's like at the core of like a lot of comedy is like something that isn't.
Right.
But they just want, sarcasm means they just want to say something shitty that they don't actually mean.
Have to take accountability
They don't want to take accountability for it, but also because they can't write a fucking joke.
Oh, yeah, honey. Like,
that's why they have to
these
resort
are the
to
people,
sarcasm.
they're the most horrible, unfunny people. And also, too, it's like I do teach at USD. I teach comedy at the MFA program, and and the undergrads, and I teach sarcasm, and I'm like, look, there's a line between sarcasm and bullying, and if the person on the end of the joke isn't in on it with you, it's bullying. If they're with you, it's sarcasm. So a stranger Don't present sarcasm to a stranger and then get mad when she or he doesn't like it. They don't know you. Sarcasm is one of the most intimate, beautiful forms of comedy we have, because where do you have the best sarcasm with? Your sister, your mom, right? Your best friend. Me and my best friend throw fucking shit back and me and my friends, disgusting. We're disgusting. Yeah. We would be canceled. All of us would be canceled. My famous friends would be canceled. All of us. But it's because because I've gone to their parents' funeral.
There's a foundation
to
contrast with the sarcasm.
Don't present me with your sarcasm unless you have been vulnerable with me, unless you have shown up for me, unless I have shown up for you, unless we have dealt with the cops or something, unless, we've gone through the cops. I'm just thinking of something we've had to deal with the car breaking down. We've gone on a trip together. You give me a life experience. I'll give you sarcasm. And that's what guys don't get. They're like, you take your life too seriously. You better fucking believe I do.
It's also,
I take comedy very seriously, and everyone else should too.
Oh yeah, and by taking comedy seriously, it means some people just shouldn't try to do it because that's not your strength, buddy.
Right.
That's not what you're good at.
Or if you enjoy humor and you're not good at it, laugh at yourself and enjoy trying. But the thing is when people get mad. When you get mad that I'm not laughing at your joke, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not even what humor is doing. You're trying to sabotage a moment in a situation. Like, laughter is about surprising people and genuinely getting them to see the world the way that you see it. If you're mad because someone didn't get that, then you don't understand comedy. You don't understand what you're even trying to do. People who can laugh at their own bad, are like, oh, I didn't get that person to laugh. Not like, you don't think I'm funny, huh? No, but when they generally are like, oh, they find delight in trying. There's nothing wrong with that to me.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Also, guys, sarcasm without knowing somebody, that's just the punchline. There's no setup. Knowing them is the setup.
Yeah.
You can't.
I
love that you teach comedy. I didn't know you could do that. It feels like what DeSantis would complain that parents pay for a thing for. We got people out here going to debt to learn punchlines. I'm like, you're damn right.
That's actually a fun analogy for that. No, you can. I think some people are born with just the observational way of seeing the world and human behavior in a different way. But that's just, it comes easier. But yeah, you can teach it. You can teach it.
Jen, where can people go to find you, follow you? And then kind of comes back to that question that we're not going to go down the rabbit hole, but where will they be able to see it?
Yes, they will be able to see it on Vimeo on June 5th. Coming up.
It's my birthday.
Is that your birthday? Well, welcome. There you go. That's my birthday present. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
You have it June 5th. Yeah. And you can watch it on Vimeo, and you can follow me at Real Jenn Harris on Instagram.
With 2 N's.
2 N's, 2 R's. Real Jenn Harris. And the film is at She's Clean the Film. But if you don't want to follow both, you can follow one. And I'm always, if it's my account, I'm always posting what I put on She's Clean on my account as well.
Yeah.
We do that. We cross-pollinate.
Yeah, I know, Drew. But Jen, this was great. And, may the dating odds be more in your favor. I hope you find that full meal that you're looking for.
Looking for a full meal.
Yeah.
I've
that
got
little snack on the side.
Yeah.
It's dessert's good, but we want to have a main and we want an app.
Sure. Nah, I have snacks in my way, but I think maybe I don't take them as seriously, unfortunately. But I think, I've been very fortunate and I have a really great life and I'm pretty happy with me and my friends. So if a lovely meal will come along and hopefully my eyes are open to see it. Let's put it that way.
I hope you catch it. Jen, this was fantastic. Why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, everyone. You've been great.
Don't go anywhere. Wait. There's extra content. I don't know if any of you fall for this part of the outro where I go, no, don't go anywhere. Don't hit the next button. There's more but there is more content with me and Jenn Harris. I'm going to play a teaser of my bonus episode with her in just a moment. A little bit of housekeeping, and then you're going to hear more of me and Jen. And if you want to hear even more of me and Jen, you can join the Patreon. At the $5 tier, I've got a bonus episode coming out tomorrow on the Orange Place. We are getting really into the weeds about intimacy coordinators and how they were used on her film and what Jenn thinks about them in the industry at large. It's a really great boning. I hope you'll enjoy it. I will say, folks, share the podcast. Post it on Instagram. Share it on the Twitter thing, the threads, even Facebook. I know you think the people in your life wouldn't love this show, but like you love it, and other people don't think that you would love it, which means you know people who would love it you don't know would love. Just share the thing. Can't share the thing? Give me 5 stars. Can't give me 5 stars? Hey, how about you just share it on FetLife? That's a safe place to share this show, right? I'm getting a thumbs up right now from someone who is on FetLife. Help spread the word. That's what I'm trying to get at, people. Did I tell you it's my birthday next week? It's my birthday. Share the pod. Give me a tag. My Instagram and threads is at BillyIsProceda. My TikTok and Twitter is at TheBillyProceda. If you want to shoot me an email with your comments, your questions, your life challenges, you can send that over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. If you want to enjoy some stand-up comedy of mine here in New York City, go to manwhorepod.com. You can also go there to buy some merch. And once again, I've got a bony coming up tomorrow with Jenn Harris on Patreon. I'm going to play a little teaser clip now for y'all. And if you want to hear the whole thing, become a member at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Next week on the show, I've got on porn star Allison Ray, everybody. Until then, stay clean and stay slutty.
So there's garments that men and women wear, right? Intimacy garments that you can wear that if you're shooting someone from behind, you don't see it, or from the side, they're flesh colored, right? She's like, okay, so these are the garments that you can, like a cock sock, right? Or
Okay.
there's all these different kinds that you can choose from, and different shades to match the actor's body color and skin color. And she's like, okay, the best ones are from this company in Europe. And so we need to kind of like order them now because it's going to take a while. And I'm like, I didn't even have my casting down, meaning I didn't know I'm not going to put an African-American man with a light colored garment, blah, blah, blah. I was like, and how much are these? I was like, this is a piece of fabric. So I called my mom. He put his mic down. Figured it out. So I called my mom. And I said, Mom, I need your help. I always ask my mom. My parents have had to like deal with my projects since I was a little kid. Have had to like, I need this, I need that, I need this. So I was like, Mom, so I sent her the website. I'm like, this is that. She figured it all out. She made a ton of these incredible, went to the, did her magic. I won't not say that she told me my dad was the model for the prototype. I won't not say that. I won't not. So when the first the first guy who asked the question.
Oh, Chuck.
So when Chuck asked that question, nope, my parents definitely are very supportive.